like to call the meeting to order for the District of Chetwynd. What a fine day to be alive. I've got some very important announcements to make today, so stay in your seats because it's going to be a great ride. It's very, very nice to have you here, and I'd like to make sure that we all acknowledge where we're at, and this is the District of Chetwynd. Thank you. Can we get the opening statement read, please?
As we gather today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Right off the hop, the great stuff that we talk about in the world of privilege and privilege and privilege. I am very privileged to announce that one of our own citizens has, I guess, given most of her career to the District of Chetwynd. And I would like to thank Audra right now, if you might come up, please. And I've got some few items for you for your dedication. You can applaud now.
Thank you. This is really hard, but
It is. I know we've been around for a long time, and we've known each other for all the years, and went through a lot. And I remember your kids, you remember my kids, and we've gone through all that. And this is what the community is about. And you give to us the District of Chetwynd. You got a paycheck. It wasn't all about that. It was about doing stuff for the community and giving back. And you've done a great job. You volunteered many times, many places. So this is what we talk about when we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And can I ask one thing? That's okay. I'll be right.
thank you.
Okay, that was great. Now we're probably, but no, there's still more to come. It's still, yes.
Just for the people who will be listening on YouTube, maybe just mention how long Audra's been with the district.
Okay, yeah, I think it was a couple days.
Yeah.
Couple days past 31 years. 31. Like, that's totally amazing. Yep. Yeah, thank you, Councilor Ward. Okay, prior to adoption of the agenda, is there any new business, Council? Not seeing any. Adoption of the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any errors? I mean, no errors. We're going. Carry on. Okay. All those in favor? Carry. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Minutes from the minutes of the regular council meeting held on May 5th, 2025.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Okay. Any errors or omissions? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Carry. And when I say that we continue to have the day get better and better, right now we are going to present a volunteer firefighter with a long service award. And would Ernie Fanners step up? We'll get some pictures. And the service in recognition, the British Columbia Long Service Award is presented to Ernest Banner in recognition of his 35 years of dedication to the fire service. I would like to always thank the first responders, because when I'm running away from the fire, you're running to it. So this is a major thing that people should know about first responders. Firefighters all the way down right to the EMS, they are the ones that go into first. And for to do this for so long means that it takes your heart and it takes your family, takes everybody involved to do the jobs that you guys do. I'm just in awe of what you guys do, because you guys do well, and I'd like to thank you for that. And before we take a picture, I would like to call Councillor Beck up, because he's the one that was on council with him too, so if you wouldn't mind, Councillor Beck. Yeah, this is important for the community, again, and it's my pleasure, and it's fun to believe about it always. No. Okay. If you want to say, yeah, right. And for people that don't know about services like our fire department and EMS and the doctors and everybody else that goes along with how our culture is made, born, and we have another great thing going on right now. She's going to present to us, and it's for stars. And Glenda, Farnden, would you mind stepping up and give your name and give your presentation with stars? Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Glenda Farnden. I'm the Senior Municipal Relations Liaison for STARS. I work with all municipalities across Alberta and also yourselves for Northeastern BC. And I'm very proud to say that we have, been partners now. This is our 19th year that STARS has been in Grand Prairie to serve Northern residents, and you have been a part of every bit of that all 19 years. So we are extremely grateful to you, and we have made heights of interprovincial records and achievements by working together and seeing no borders. So this year, STARS actually is celebrating 40 years of being in Alberta and serving residents. So it's a big mainstay year for us, lots of celebration, but also keeping in mind always that in a worst case scenario, we are bringing the intensive care unit environment and the expertise. Critical care begins as soon as we reach the patient. And this is all not possible without partnership. So we have financially, on the financial side, we have secured another 10-year long-term service agreement with Alberta Health Services in place, this time for $15 million per year block funding. So this represents roughly about 40% of our operational costs. This was my previous slide. We have not had our new numbers approved by the board yet, but the new numbers are showing that per base, it's about $12.2 million per base, times 3 bases in Alberta. So it's quite significant. And of that, so roughly 60% of that then is what we fundraise for every year. So through all different kinds of fundraising initiatives, individual donations, as well as corporate, our About Alberta lottery that helps to basically fund one base in Alberta. It is a challenge always, when you're raising multi-million dollars through fundraising to instill a service that's available to anyone who may need it. So I wanted to give you an idea of where we're at now with municipal partnerships. So since my last update to you, about a year ago. So we've added 10 more rural municipalities across Alberta, as well as 16 more urban municipalities. So as you see on the map now, everything that is colored, except for the white areas, there's 3 remaining in Alberta. So we have 95% of all of Alberta is in partnership, including all of Peace River Regional District. So this also includes that anywhere that you see that is teal or navy, blue is a regional partner, meaning that they are contributing at a minimum $2 per capita, up to $90 per capita, and everything in between. So it's quite significant as far as being able to have sustainability for us each year. The mission rate and volume and demand continues to rise. Fuel costs are rising, medical supply costs, it's never ending, right? So the partnership and the value of these regional leaders are essential to us for continuing to provide the services that we do. We have 9 provincial leaders. They are all in the teal green. It also includes Peace River Regional District. You have reached over a $1 million status, so you are on the prestigious Cowling as well. And as we continue, last year we had a logo unveiling for Little Birch Hills County as well. They surpassed 500,000, so they were able to have their logo on the helicopter as well. This is an overview. It's not quite showing everything in the numbers. I'm sorry, I'm not sure why things are missing there. I don't know if you have a printout or not, or she will have one for you anyway, to show in total 236 missions flown within Peace River Regional District over the last 15 years. Now you'll see in the lineup though, like all different areas of Peace River Regional District as well. For Chetwynd specifically, between your hospital and your local scene calls, 29 in total. So you're averaging roughly about 2 missions per year. Last year was 3. So we are a key asset as well for your local hospital and your medical professionals, in the fact that we not only can provide physical response with the helicopter, we can also provide virtual care, and your hospital and your medical professionals have benefited from being able to have access to virtual care as well. This is give you an idea of specific residents. So this was our postal code project, which has been in the making for 10 years. It's still, we're going through some glitches and things, but I wanted to bring you this information. So far since 2010, we were able to access postal code only of patients flown. So a total within Peace River Regional District would be 73 residents have been flown. 11 of them were specifically had Chetwynd postal codes. Of that, though, when you look on the right-hand side, you'll see kind of the outline of the blue showing the boundaries. And it's not quite showing all of the areas, but way up north as well, should be another red dot. So these all indicate the pickup locations across the bottom. Of these 73 total residents flown, 13 patients were picked up in Chetwynd, and 60 of these area residents were flown from 22 other locations across 2 provinces. So you will see all the red dots and areas where possibly Chetwynd residents as well were somewhere not at home when they needed stars. This is truly a testament to the value of our partnership together. Your residents have access to stars all across Western Canada, where we have 6 bases, from Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Regina, Calgary, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, and serving the eastern corridor of BC, north and south. STARS is borderless. We are 6 bases across Western Canada. On an average, we are averaging 11 missions per day. But I wanted to give you an insight into a day in the life of STARS crew members. So this is 1 day's worth of missions. There's actually 18 dispatches, you'll see. We've had days that there's 20 or more dispatches, so double what we would normally average. You'll see the STARS base that was actually dispatched for this particular mission and the mission type, whether it was a critical interfacility transfer or it was a scene call. And then look at the description of the really critical nature of the types of things that are happening all in the same day. And then, of course, the disposition, patient transported by STARS, or number 3, where we brought the specialty team for a neonatal baby. And so the NICU baby went with the specialty team by ground. Number 6 doesn't really show there again, but it was a rollover. As we get more patient information through the Emergency Link Center to our transport physicians, we are a medically driven organization. So they make all the determinants on where is the best receiving hospital for the patient, what that patient needs, whether they need to have, a trauma surgery and we need to schedule a trauma surgeon, these types of things, the cardiac cath lab. So this is all being done by STARS transport physicians in the background while we are en route to the patient. So we are saving time on both ends of the mission. So this particular one, number 6, it was discovered that it was not medically required for that patient. And so that patient went by ground and we were turned around to be ready for the next critical patient, which ended up being a workshop explosion out of the Edmonton area. And again, it was determined that for that particular mission, that patient should go by fixed wing. So now our transport physicians, were scheduling the fixed wing so that that patient could go. And we were again turned around to be ready for the next critical patient. Number 10 was out of Grand Prairie. And so again, always keeping in mind that we are the dedicated critical care provider. And so with our expertise, we are able to go on all modes of transport. So with a critical patient, sometimes the patient maybe cannot fly, and so we would need to go by ground, whether it is for reasons, maybe respiratory reasons, where that patient can't withstand the air pressures, and we would have to go by ground, or maybe they need to go by fixed wing because we've already coordinated that in order to arrive in Edmonton. So our crews can go on the STARS helicopter, they go on Alberta Health Services fixed wing, they go on ground ambulance with a critical patient. There's also a brand new hemorrhage control medication now. STARS is a leader in innovation. More than 10 years ago, we brought on board carrying universal blood on board. We were the first in North America. So we've been carrying 2 units of universal blood on board. The last couple of years, we have seen so many patients that are at risk for bleeding out. So we have increased carrying 4 units of universal blood on board now. And with this brand new hemorrhage control medication, fibrinogen. So now once we are presented with these types of patients that are possibly going to bleed out, we can apply the first 2 units of blood and then the fibrinogen, which allows these patients, it helps them to build blood clots. And then we can apply the second 2 units of blood as well. And we are seeing absolutely phenomenal results in these types of patients now. So this is a tremendous advancement in how we can continue to enhance critical care for rural residents. And of course, after 40 years, we flew our longest mission in STARS history. And it was for Peace River Regional District resident from Chetwynd. So Doug McTavish was up at Chi House. It was during dusk. So we are allowed, able to fly at night. No other resource was able to fly at night. We were his only hope for survival. So what we did was the Emergency Link Center, they mapped out and made contacts to everywhere we needed to go in order to refuel. So it started out with Grand Prairie. The Grand Prairie crew checked the weather and everything, said that yes, we were going to be all right to still make the attempt to find this patient. So we flew to Fort Nelson to top up and refuel. Then we flew to Chi House, searching the riverbank in the dark to find this patient, find a place on the riverbank to land the helicopter, get out, stabilize him, and then make him, package the patient, as they say, in order to make the long trek back. He was in very critical condition, had suffered a massive heart attack. He needed everything that we had on board in the helicopter, the intensive care unit environment, our critical care expertise. We flew to Watson Lake to refuel. We flew back to Fort Nelson to top up and then make the long trek back to Grand Prairie. More than 2,400 liters of fuel was used. More than 1,700 kilometers were flown. They said if you flew it in a straight line, it was flying from Calgary to Los Angeles. More than 8.2 flight hours, but more importantly, more than 5 hours in the air managing a severely critical patient. One life saved. We had a very tearful, wonderful reunion of him and his family with our crew, the crew that saved his life at the Grand Prairie base. And as we go forward now, this is testament to our mandate is to provide critical care anywhere. So in closing, I would just like to say thank you, District of Chetwynd. Thank you very much for 19 years now, you have been a provincial leader. You have been an interprovincial leader. We made history when you came on board. You helped us to build the helipad at the previous QE2 hospital so that your patients could come there and receive care as well. You helped us to move forward, be an interprovincial leader when you had 2 different logo unveilings as we move forward. So I did want you to know that I did meet with the board previously for a special meeting because the Priest River Regional District Board now has some challenges on where they had us placed as far as the funding for us, and now it has to be capped. There's some legislative challenges. So I have asked them if they will consider to move us to a different part of their budget or something so that we can maintain what you've always given us over the 19 years. So my request to you is that in talking with your mayor that you would be willing to continue to support that fact that we will continue our partnership as we always have for many years to come for our children and our grandchildren. STARS provides physical response and virtual care now to your local hospital. So we are assisting local practitioners with that, not only in medical guidance, but procedural guidance. It's just like seeing like FaceTime, basically, on a secure link. So that way we are still able to always provide that critical care aspect for your medical practitioners. Together, we are enhancing rural health care. Your residents have access to STARS 24/7 across Western Canada. And always remembering 40 years, no bill to the patient, a life is saved every day. But partnership has always made that possible. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for standing by our side. And I'd like to make a presentation to you to say thank you. This is the brand new fleet, the brand new helicopter that serves your residences now. We have 10 of these H145s, and I'm very proud to say that all 10 helicopters, it was a $155 million capital campaign, are all paid for. So we can move forward now for generations to come. But thank you again for your partnership. And I'd like to ask for a photo if you don't mind.
Yes, and could I get all council? Let's get a council picture and with you, Glenda.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll read the caption. District of Chetwynd, thank you for your partnership with STARS and dedication to saving lives.
Oh, okay. Or you just want one? Yeah.
I've got her. Presentation.
Yes, questions? I have one about the blood, universal blood, because that kind of intrigues me that when was it first brought on board and when was it first discovered?
Well, now you're challenging my memory, but I know it's probably been about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So around 2012 or 13, somewhere
Mhm.
maybe in there. So I think we've crossed 11 years that we've been carrying universal blood. And as I said, we were thrilled to be leaders in innovation to bring that on board
Yeah.
as being the first medical organization, not only in Canada, but across North America.
Yes.
So, and it has really changed so many lives of being able to do that.
Yeah.
But then in the last few years, we have seen such an increase in those really high risk type of patients bleeding out, which is why we work with Canadian Blood Institute to ensure that there's no waste. So we get regular deliveries from them at our base in a special container that keeps optimum temperature and all of these things that's required for protocol for blood. And we can contact them at any time if we have used the blood and we need to replenish, or if we have blood on at the base that's going to be expiring, so that they can put it back into the system so that there is no waste, and they bring us a fresh batch as well. So now we are carrying 4 units of blood. And then this last year, it was approved in Alberta that we would carry this fibrinogen as well. So it originally started the year before that in Saskatchewan and was approved. And so for the bases in Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, that they actually carried it a year before we did. But it was finally approved through Alberta as well. And now it's just amazing because, we are actually able to help these patients to build blood clots when they are going to bleed out. So now it's just really, it's a game changer.
Mhm.
And so now, and then we have the extra 2 units of blood now as well, right, to back up while we're getting that patient to tertiary care.
Thank you. What a wonderful invention. And one of the reasons why I talk about blood is that donating blood in the north, we don't have a place where we can donate blood. And a Mackenzie counselor brought this up when we were at our meeting here in the last week, so that we need places where we can go donate blood in the north. So yeah, it's just something that we as a community and the north need to be able to, help out that way too. But
For sure.
thank you very much
And
for.
we support that too, as well, because there is not a place in Grand Prairie either that Grand Prairians would have to go to Edmonton, right? And it is, it's really a vital need
Mhm.
that we can use all across the north. So I'm very hopeful that there will be finding some ways forward
Yes.
for that, and that we can again work together on that.
Awesome.
Thank you for your inspirational presentation. You brought a tear to my eye talking about Doug McTavish, longtime resident. Probably everybody in this room knows who he is. Truly a younger man. Probably my age-ish, and
Real young.
with young children and a young family and parents and siblings and cousins, and the testimony really speaks to our community, and I'm just grateful that you were able to share that with us, because I think it opens a lot of eyes. Thank you.
Thank you for that as well. It's very important to all of us. We were overjoyed. It would be not even the proper way to describe when his family had contacted and said, what can we do to help? And we said, we need, like, you are the epitome of what we are trying to achieve, which is to, in absolutely nowhere, in the dark, on a riverbank, be able to provide critical care and save a life. Like, it is our mandate. And that particular mission really spoke to it, covered every angle. And so with that, I mean, once even, for our transport physicians, that always, a lot of people don't know that all of this is happening in the background. What, we're just being dispatched, but we're not just a transport system. When we reach the patient, critical care begins. And that's a key point, especially in areas like the whole northern region, whether it's on the Alberta side or the BC side. We have a lot of northern residents that do not have timely access to critical care. And so this is the point of being able to have success and keep families together. And now we're trying to build on that for generations. We've had that for 40 years now. Now we have research teams as well that continue to look for these innovations. How do we improve what we're bringing to the rural areas? So we continue to do that. We're striving to continue to enhance rural healthcare. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you once again.
Okay. I brought you your 25th anniversary calendar. There's lots of lovely little tidbits in the middle, so it's a good read, actually, and your latest newsletter. And thank you again. We just,
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Councilor.
yeah.
I just want to echo what Councillor Nelson has said, that it's really important for our area and as a family that frequents our backyard and all of those and stuff like that. And but too, my family has been personally touched and serviced by stars, so thank you very much. My question to you is, with having 26 new municipalities added, has your capacity increased?
Capacity in what way?
Like, do you need more helicopters to service more communities? Do you need more positions?
Okay, well, two ways of looking at that. We face challenges like the healthcare system does. People are ever changing. People are retiring. We are very fortunate to have very long time veterans, some that are like 35 to 38 years in service with STARS, and they're retiring. So it becomes a little more difficult to find qualified, because we require some really high level requirements, whether it's on the medical side or it's on the aviation side. So we're very fortunate that most of our pilots are all ex-military, because they have night vision goggle capability. They've already flew all over the world, and now they just want to stay at home with their families, and we can offer a regular schedule, and they can be a family man or woman. So, we're fortunate that that's what we have in our back pocket when they could go commercially or otherwise and make a lot more money. And we have something that we're fortunate to have really gifted people that what we do fills their bucket every day. Medical side, same way. There's a lot of challenges. There's a shortage of nurses, there's a shortage of paramedics, and then we require over and above. So they have to have certain level and a certain amount of hours, I believe 5 years, don't quote me, but about 5 years critical care, ICU, emergency room experience. Then if they are fortunate to be able to be a STARS crew member, then they have to go through the STARS Academy, which is a really rigorous venture in its own, in order for them to get to the point that they actually will fly for about 3 months as a buddy with an actual crew member. So we are very diligent about them having to reach superior levels of expertise. So we just, it's sometimes difficult, because again, if they want to go government wise and work at the hospital, they definitely can pay make more money, right? We do share a lot. Some of ours are 0.5 for each, right? So that we can kind of share. And then that also heightens, critical care in all areas. When we share paramedics on ground ambulance, we share paramedics and nurses for the hospital as well. So it is, as I was saying to the chief here, it's very much a team effort. I already presented him with his calendar and newsletter just to say thank you very much, because we cannot do what we do best without our fire departments. So they are the champions. They are the ones that are on the ground, making sure everything is safe, and that allows us to get to that patient and start that critical care. So it's a team effort.
Good questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'll leave these with Lenore.
The stars does have stars. All right. Well. No bylaws. Committee reports. Any committee reports? Yeah, you're up.
Well, I have quite a lengthy report.
sure.
Everybody will be pleased that my computer isn't working, so I'm probably gonna have to just cut it a little bit shorter. Starting with Minerals North, April 30th to May 2nd. A real highlight for me was a conversation with Vitriol Minerals. The new development by Bear Lake is going to be bringing a lot of work, a lot of construction jobs, a lot of trucking opportunities directly through Chetwynd. They were saying that all the sand for the Montney frac requirement was coming out of Minnesota, I do believe. But soon the majority of it will be coming out of Bear Lake area, which means just opportunities for Chetwynd, because we are right on the corridor to the Montney, which I think is really good news. And we should see some kind of production occurring by 2028. Last week we went to Prince Rupert. The story is kind of fun, even though the tariff conversation is a little bit foreboding. Ellen McAvaney and myself met up with Mayor and other team members in Fraser Lake to deliver one carving. We were transporting two. The one we dropped off in Fraser Lake was really well received. The staff put it in the ground. Mayor and council were there for the dedication. And from a small community that lost 2 mills last year, like I think within months of each other, they've been economically struggling in such a big way. And Mayor Sarah Story just said, this is a bit of a win for us. And I'll tell you, being on the main corridor through Fraser Lake, there was all sorts of tourists stopping to have a stop in their little town to look at the carving. And I think that it is just quite a gift for that community. We moved on to go to Prince Rupert, another similar story. They placed our carving up on Totem Park, which is up on the hill, overlooking the harbor. They say that Rupert is the rainiest city in Canada, but it was actually sunny nearly every day that we were there. So it was absolutely perfect. And just the dedication of that carving for their community. The mayor graciously accepted the gift. And when he put his slide deck out for his presentation of his community for the entire conference, he had our carving picture dead center in his photographs. So you know that is another relationship building piece that really does matter. The conference, the North Central Local Government Association, NCLGA, really a lot of conversation about the tariff war and what that's going to mean for us. They're saying that we're going to be looking at 32,000 jobs lost in BC in the next year. Sorry, everybody. It's really not that good of news. But what they are saying is that advocating through UBCM is that they're going to be advocating the government to get some funds back to assist our communities, our municipalities in surviving what this looks like. And I don't know what further it's going to look like, except for us as Canadians, I guess, can continue to buy Canadian. What else do I have here? We further, the Chetwynd Public Library grand opening is going to be on Tuesday, June the 3rd at 5 p.m. All residents, community members, I think really anybody is welcome to come. And we really do hope to see you there because our very own mayor will be dancing. And I think that's enough reason to turn up. Thank you.
Yep. Any other reports? Just like to touch on Minerals North. 70% of the coal in British Columbia comes from the Northeast Canuma resource. So we do contribute to the world in metallurgic coal. So that was one of the things that we've taken from Minerals North, and how our corridor with vitriol. I think it is every 16 or 24 minutes, we'll have a truck going through Chetwynd. I believe so. 15? Okay, so every 15 minutes we'll have a truckload of sand once they get in operation going through here. And they talked about a reload. Maybe getting it on rail, the next rail reload could be here in Chetwynd because they do have some spurs and they already have sand just east of us here down the rail line. So they'd have to expand a little bit. So that's what they talked about in Minerals North on the reload, and sand coming from another country. We don't want to mention the country, but anyway. So, and Mayor Pond from Prince Rupert, before I left, thanked us graciously for the carving. And there's been several interviews. I believe you can hear them on, there's one on CBC, and I believe you could read articles coming from CBC, and there's a few other ones out there on the appreciation that was given to Chetwynd. And I'd like to thank the previous society prior to myself sitting as mayor, because this happened prior to me sitting there. Says, "Oh, what did you do?" I says, "I'm just sitting as the mayor now, and I get to smile at you when I give you this opportunity to take one of our chainsaw carvings." And this has been happening for 19 years. Next year will be the 20th year, and they were appreciative of the fact that we were able to give some of the carvings to other communities on gift. Some of our carvings, and they get to enjoy them. And every time we do it, we give them the date when the carving, the competition starts, right? So we give them that all the time. So 6th, 7th, and 8th. So anyway, of June. And then they say thank you, and we get on the way. So, and as for the NCGLA, the main thing, and one of the things that I mentioned here to Glenda, was we need to donate blood. I mean, I didn't realize that this was a factor. You could, I believe, down in the Lower Mainland is one of the places, or Kelowna or Kamloops, the only place where you can help out. And I know in the North, that's what we do. We help out. And if we could, we would donate blood in our area, and it wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is they need specific items to go through before you can donate blood. So that's why you have to go to certain places. But I'm certain we have nurses and doctors and paramedics and whoever to look after these clinics. And I'm thinking we can get it done. And that was one of the things the councillor from Mackenzie brought up. So hopefully we get it done. It was supported, and we'll be sending it to UBCM. So we will back that resolution up at UBCM. So there we go. And yes, and dancing, traditional cultural dancing, native Indigenous dancing. That's what Councillor mentioned. So on the 3rd, I've already danced once here at the Rec Center. So I was very privileged to get my regalia and dance there. So come out, enjoy the festivities at our new library grand opening. That's the big thing. Thank you. Any others? We're good?
Your worship, I actually have an administrator here.
Let me mark that down.
There you go. I won't talk too much about NCLGA, but it's important, I think, to recognize the really good work that gets done on these things. The having a combined northern voice to talk about our common issues is so important. We talk about blood. We talked about every town, and I didn't understand this either. In the Bulkley corridor, every single town is cut in half by the railroad tracks. So there was a lot of conversations with CN Rail about what are you guys going to do to mitigate this? Because this is a concern for everybody, and it's all over BC. We were able to meet with Northern Health Management Team and get some fairly good news for a change. You know, like Becky mentioned in the last meeting, we're down 46% last year in hospital diversions. We're now pretty much fully staffed with doctors. We're overstaffed if you count residents. There's only 12% vacancy rate for all the positions in Northern Health for Chetwynd, so we're actually doing better than a lot of communities. Prince Rupert, if you go on their WTF Prince Rupert page, which I like to do every community pretty much, about half of the comments are about hospital diversions. I mean, everywhere we see the same problem, but by meeting directly with management, we're able to put that kind of pressure on them. There's a lot of strength in numbers. You know, we talked with Vitriol, and with this number of trucks coming through our town, like a truck every 15 minutes, the conversation starts early with them. What are you going to do to mitigate the impact to our infrastructure? I was really lucky in meeting with Leah Caldwell, who's the senior manager for communications and public engagement for Western LNG. They're starting up a rather large pipeline project. It'll be a year and a half to 2 years starting next year. It starts up 30 kilometers west of us and it goes just north of Prince Rupert. And so because I'm shameless, I was hitting them up for donations and money already. One of the things they talked about is while they're clearing land, they're going to look for wood for our carvings. And she said that she thinks that the company would support donating the chainsaw carving wood. That's a potential saving of $30,000 or $40,000 a year, right there. That more than pays for the trip. So there's a lot of really good work getting done. And when we talk to people about projects like this pipeline, we talk about the cons. You know, the socioeconomic impacts. There's a lot of jobs, but we see an uptick in assaults on women and vulnerable people. We see an increase in drug and alcohol use. And so we ask the companies what they're going to do to help us mitigate those issues that they kind of help cause. So these are all really, really good things. But anyway, other news is we had a small human-caused wildfire in town, and that wasn't a small human-caused fire. It was a small fire that was human-caused. I realized the way I wrote that was a little murky. And it was at Deer Point Trail, which is kind of by the CN property near Charlie Lasser, old property, the Lasser property. We had a really good response from our fire department and BC Wildfire. The fire was out in just a few hours, really, and it never got too large. Interestingly enough, we think our beaver population kind of helped us because the creek is a natural fire barrier before the fire got too big. So we have Deer Point Trail is closed right now to give us a chance to assess the damage because there's some dangerous trees. We don't want a tree to fall on anybody. We had one of our very rare water main breaks on May 11th. And so we lost water service for some of the rodeo sub residents. Director LeBlanc and the water sewer team addressed the issue very quickly and competently, and water service was restored by early evening. Our crews had the parts on hand. Everybody knew what they were doing, and even though it's an unusual occurrence, it was rectified really quickly. Very happy with that. Our old library demolition begins basically tomorrow. They anticipate knocking down the building in about 4 hours. They did last year last week, from May 12th to 17th. The hazardous materials abatement contractor did additional testing, and so we're comfortable with all that. It's been inspected. No work starts without all the permits in place. We'll put site fencing up today, and then tomorrow they'll raise the building, which will take about 4 hours, and then all the waste gets taken to the landfill. We've notified everybody. We've got Facebook posts, we've got website posts, B-City posts. Everybody's aware of the schedule, and it should all be done and graded on the 26th, which is next Monday. And then we'll follow up with our paving that area as a final portion of the paving project. So, and that would be my report.
Any questions? Councilor Ward.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, can you specify how the fire was human caused?
We don't know exactly. It's speculated that it was a small, what we call a recreational fire. Like it could be any number of things. It could be somebody just having a little campfire. It could be young people, experimenting with fire. We don't know really what the exact cause, but the initial indications from wildfire and our fire crew was that it was human caused.
Okay, thank you. Can it be caused by an ATV?
Modern ATVs are required to have spark arrestor mufflers. I know because I got inspected for my older quad and I didn't have one and I got in trouble for it. So this is back 3 or 4 years ago. My new one has this, so they're not supposed to. But there is a hazard with the muffler being hot enough if people drive in tall dead grass, especially if they stop, and they can still cause a fire, but they shouldn't, like the muffler shouldn't cause them with the spark arrestors on.
Thank you.
Councillor, did the regional district donate the dumping fees?
We put in the request just before we went on Prince Rupert and I haven't heard back, but I have heard that they have received the letter. So we'll hear on the next Thursday. Thank you.
Any other questions, Councillor Nelson?
What time does demolition start?
We're not gonna tell anybody because we don't want a bunch of people hanging around there.
Really hoping to hang around and have a look.
Yeah. You'll note at the bottom of my Facebook post, it says, please avoid lingering in the area to give ample room for workers and equipment.
That's like.
Thank you.
All righty. If there isn't any other questions, motion to accept the reports.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, discussion items, correspondence, information items. Any to be pulled, councillors? If not,
I'd like to pull I-8, please.
all right.
Motion
Any
to
other?
receive CI 1 through 7 and 9 through 11.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Councillor Smith. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's continue with I-8. Councillor Nelson.
So under I-8 on page 3 and 4, it states that there will be new tariff relief for municipal emergency services. There's some stipulations in regards to how that's going to work, purchased prior to mid-October 2025. I'm curious about if anyone understands at our table what type of goods are being referred to and how this can benefit us as a municipality.
Staff?
We're still in the kind of wait and see mode on this. We have basically the information you have. We're told that there is relief coming, but it's all really broad brush. We watch it really closely and this is the benefit again of things like NCLGA because these networks, UBCM, all these networks of peers will help us learn how we can directly take advantage of some of them. There are more grant opportunities coming out. We've heard there is some tariff relief, but right now we do not know how it impacts us, but we are watching very closely.
Okay, so if we're looking at purchasing items for the fire department or such, potentially we will be watching that timeline.
Yeah, the only outstanding item we have is the truck that is almost complete. And we're still on the pre-tariff prices on that. Fire equipment's a really good example. Like pretty much everybody in Canada, every municipality buys fire vehicles from the States because it's a limited niche for factories. But there has been a lot of conversations about what that looks like moving forward. If Canada starts supplying their own, or if there will be some kind of tariff break from the government. It looks like the government tentatively supports the idea of covering the tariffs for emergency first response equipment. But again, everything's really broad brush and I can't guarantee anything. But we don't have any plans to buy anything big from the States at this point.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, accept I-8.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Reports for action, RA1, facade improvement application.
I will make the recommendation.
We'll just hang on. Janet, yeah.
I will make the recommendation that council authorize the facade improvement program application for Cooley Signs, Graphics and More Limited, address 4808 North Access Road, Chetwynd, BC, and authorize the mayor and corporate officer to execute a partnering agreement with Cooley Signs, Graphics and More Limited, and approve the issuance of development permit number 03/2025 to Cooley Signs, Graphics and More. As shown.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Not seeing any. All those in favor? Carried. Okay.
Point of order, sorry, on the motion, it didn't specify that it was subject to MOTT approval. So we have to have that
Okay.
for that.
My mistake.
You made the motion
Subject to MOTT approval.
and seconders, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're voting on, we've already made the vote, we're good. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, RA2, declaration of service to interior level for the Chetwynd Fire Rescue Department.
I'd like to make the motion that council supports the resolution for the Chetwynd Fire Rescue Department declaration of service from exterior level to an interior level as prescribed by the British Columbia Structured Firefighter Minimum Training Standards.
I second that.
Okay, discussion, go ahead, Councillor.
So congratulations, having all trainees certified to this level. How many firefighters are necessary to maintain this level?
Okay, yeah, since we've got the chief, do you mind coming to the podium and giving us the professional view on it? Thank you.
So currently, right now, we're at,
Yeah. Did you want to just run through the name and, yeah, because we have people on there.
hello, Dan Gold, Fire Chief. So when we're talking about the minimum levels that we have to have as far as having the interior and the certified members, it is, right now, we're currently, we have 2 recruits. We're carrying 17 members right now. And so we're at 15 members is where the fire underwriters come into play with the fire department. And so as long as we maintain 80% of certified 1001 level 1 and 2 firefighters, then we'll be able to maintain it. The interesting component with the interior and exterior, if we all of a sudden have 6 recruits and we only have 2 1001 certified firefighters, then the department, it becomes exterior. We can't be putting those people into harm's way until they get the accreditation that they need and the training that meet the JPRs. So depending on the incident and staffing will dictate if we're able to go into the building or we're going to have to stay out of the building. Does that help you?
It does, yes. I have a follow-up question on the sizing of the building. So you guys can, without question, enter into small buildings under 600 square feet. Anything above and beyond that needs to have an exterior assessment prior to, and like a plan developed before entering, is that correct?
Yeah, so when we're talking about the interior program, 1 and 2 story residential homes were able to enter, so pot on stove, structure fire. When we get into more complex buildings, so let's use the example of the IGA building, then we would have to have a pre-plan in place. So that would mean that myself or the deputy would be going in and doing a pre-plan and then putting it into our records management system. So then we're able to draw on that resource when we arrive on scene. We all pretty much know the IGA, we all been in there. It's just a matter of ensuring that if we go into the hospital, for example, that we have a pre-plan and it's reflective on our actions as we move into those incidents.
And have you started developing these plans already? Are they in place, or is this something above and beyond that you're currently, like, you'll have to work on moving forward?
They're in progress. So we're just looking at a new program software that's going to be able to utilize the time and effort put in for these pre-plans, so then that they're immediately populated into our records management system, so that we can draw it on our CADs so our computers that we have in the trucks, that we can draw onto that, as well as off of our phones.
Councillor Smith?
So there's 15 people that are certified right now and then 2 recruits?
So we have, so us as being the authority having jurisdiction, we've hit all of the JPRs to meet the requirement under the training standard. So we have 1 member that needs their live fire 2, and so that's slated within the next couple of months. So out of the 15, we'll have accreditation. The deputy's been working on getting their certificates. And so once we get everyone's certificate, we're going to ask them to come and have council present those certificates on behalf of the district for their time and effort that they put in. So yes, we're meeting the check boxes that we require. Because of the time restraints and availability of certain courses, we have to be flexible with it. But within the training program that we've established, we meet the check marks to move into an interior department.
And then I have another question. And then when you go to an interior fire, it just depends how many people respond on whether that will be an interior or exterior. Like, do you need a certain number of people that are trained to have people outside? Like, how does that work?
So for example, if we arrive on scene and we have a fully involved structure fire, the members outside have to balance. So within the first 10 minutes, we're allowed to send a crew into the building. So a crew of 2 with 1 person outside as IC and then a pump operator, so 4 people. And then within the next 10 minutes, we have to have at least another 2 members outside that form that rapid intervention team. And so if that doesn't occur, the people that are in that building get drawn out, and then it becomes an exterior operations. We never go beyond the spectrum that is under the WorkSafe regulations. And so within that 10-minute frame, we might be able to draw on to Moberly if they have 1001 certified individuals that respond that can fill that role. But we'll never ever go beyond the capabilities of what we have for support outside to do interior operations.
I have one more question. Because we have a volunteer fire department, have your responses to fires been pretty good with numbers? Like 4 people coming to fires, like you're good or no?
Unfortunately, yes. We've had incidents where there's only 3 of us. And so that just stays as exterior operation. So we're just taking water from the exterior and putting in and trying to maintain the exposures. So that's kind of like what's going to complement with this new apparatus that we're going to be getting from the regional district. It has a master stream on it. And so we're going to be looking at how we're going to respond between myself and the deputy as far as having resources on the ground so that we can put water on the fire from a distance and then wait till we get complemented with staff. So we work within the means that we can, and we never put anybody into harm's way without having the support mechanism.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Okay, we've got all those in favor? Carried. Okay, RA3, Parks and Public Use Application and Permit Red Eye Tournament.
I'll make the motion that council authorize the Parks and Public Use application for Red Eye Tournament for August 1st and August 2nd, starting at 8 a.m. and going to 4:15 a.m.
Discussion. Counselor,
I just have a question, if there was any negative feedback.
As we posted on Facebook and we asked for people to call, there were two people that were opposed, primarily noise. One person was worried about her pets being frightened and possibly an uptick in theft and negative behaviors. We will and have asked for RCMP, increased RCMP presence during it. And that should help mitigate the concerns. The majority of the responses were very positive and very much in favor of it. I guess as a personal side, I lived in Taylor for 20 years, right by the Diamonds. They have red eye tournaments every year, and really they were low impact to the neighborhood. So that's just, a personal experience, but there were more positive, considerably more positive comments than negative in this stuff.
Thank you.
Is it because of the counting? Is that, or because 8 a.m. to 4:15? That's just a regular ball tournament, isn't it? Oh, AM.
I feel you're getting.
Yeah, and the reason for the on-site camping, of course, is that drastically reduces any impaired driving. It keeps everybody kind of contained in the area. The organizers are really good about encouraging people to stay on site. And so they cook on site, they drink on site, everything.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Carry. Reports for information. April account payable checklist.
I was just wondering what the $25,000 check.
We need a motion first, Councilor Smith. Yeah.
I'll motion.
Okay. Second. Any discussion?
Yes. I was just wondering what the $25,000 check to closers is. It's weird.
April 25th.
Yeah, that's fine. There's $25,515.
A series of dangerous tree removals.
Okay, thank you.
And just for information, what this closers? Is that just?
That would be their company name or their business name.
Okay, question, Councilor Deck?
Yeah, I have just a couple of quick ones. 4J maintenance, 12,910, and Frontier Forest Solutions, 12,332.
And the dates on them, Councilor Deck?
The first one, Forte, is a company that we've contracted to do some maintenance on the HVAC system within this building. We've had some problems with some of the furnaces and things, and they come in to do a bunch of work on that for us. And I'm sorry, what was the second one?
Frontier Forest Solutions.
Oh, that was one of our risk assessment plans that was done on the grant program that we had. We had the heat and the cold risk assessment plans that we've done. Yeah. This one was for cold, but we had the two plans that we did.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're good? Yeah. Councilor Work?
Just wondering if we got a new piece of gym equipment, National Gym Supply 1872.
Yeah, the rec center is always buying some of that stuff every year, so that would just need replacement on some of their existing equipment.
Thank you.
And that's paid for by the regional district as well. There was a $20,000 a year annual budget for gym equipment replacement. So they cycled through a treadmill.
Excellent.
There's two RG strategies. It's marketing.
RG Strategies does a lot of publication work for us for different publications that are put out through the visitor center and things like that, promoting the area.
And the 208,000 for the PRD. What else? The
3 loan payments.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Set the account. All those in favor? Carry.
Your worship, it's a little irregular, but I do have a late breaking kind of new business item that will be very brief if we can.
Okay, so we're good with it? Okay.
We heard this afternoon that there's a very tight timeline for Tansy Friendship Center getting a letter of support from Mayor and Council for continuing operation of the emergency shelter. So what we'd like is just approval to write the letter of support. I'll send it out in a draft form for council to approve before it goes out. But because of the tight time crunch, we didn't want to leave it until the next council meeting. And Ellen and I were talking about just at 4:15 is when we found out about it, so.
I'll make a motion to write a letter of support.
Any discussion on? Councilor Nelson and Councilor Link.
I just feel like I need more information. I mean, I know everyone wants to move this, but I've been told that other communities are shipping their homeless to Chetwynd. And I would just like to know more about what that looks like. I mean, of course, the homeless shelter is helpful and I'm not opposed to it. But does this mean that we are going to be receiving more homeless people because they're getting sent out of our regional communities?
Well, we look on that in the past as somewhat of an urban legend, quite frankly. We've often heard about busing people from different communities to other communities, but when pressed, like from CAOs to CAOs, for instance, you can never find a bus company that actually did it. I don't know of any concrete evidence. There was one time a period of years ago when Vancouver paid for bus tickets for people to come to the north to get jobs when their boom was happening. And the feeling is that kind of morphed into communities shipping their homeless people to other communities. If that happened, it would be bordering on illegal and certainly immoral. And I don't see how a local government would keep it secret because we know there aren't any secrets. I haven't heard a single instance of it. There are times where homeless people are moved out of communities by changes in bylaws. For instance, not camping in public spaces. And homeless people will move to places where they can, try to have some kind of existence. That's an unfortunate byproduct of things like those bylaws. Those bylaws, by the way, violate the Human Rights Commission. So, and human rights legislation in Canada. So short answer is no, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's shipping us homeless people. We know our regulars. We have between 15 and 20 of them year round. We know when the weather warms up, we have transient people move through, often looking for work. They move north. It's like migrations, really. They move north when the weather gets warmer, and in the fall we'll see them come back down as they head back south where it's warmer in the winter. It's not, I don't think, any kind of deliberate action on any government's part that I've ever been able to find. I've asked CAOs, I've asked corporate officers, I've asked mayors, and everybody's heard it, but nobody can give me an exact instance of it ever happening.
Good, Councillor.
I'm still uncertain, I've just been hearing reports that we do have many more additional homeless people, and I feel very strongly that we need to take care of our own, but that's just my opinion.
Councillor Smith, or Warwick, and then Smith, yep.
Thank you. So we've written a letter of support before for this same reason, and so is there like, does it expire?
Yes, what it is they have to apply for grant funding. One grant, they ran out, and another grant has recently come open, as my understanding. And so now we're kind of, again, they're on a tight timeline. All it does is this is to provide funding for their existing structure. Some of the negative issues we've had very recently are because the shelter's closed. If people don't have a place to sleep, they tend to be more visible. Speaking back to Councillor Nelson too, we do have maybe between 5 and 10 more than our regulars, but again, that's part of the regular cycle. We have a few come through. We've talked to them. They're moving through. They're heading to Fort St. John, or they're heading north. They're looking for work. They have a variety of things.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How long is I didn't realize the shelter was closed, sorry. How long does it stay open? Or how long is their funding typically for?
Well, one of the things we're really advocating for is to get a consistent year-round funding. That we've had this issue before where they kind of run out of grants before another grant opens. And we've been talking to the provincial government about, like, this is an important service, let's try to fund it year-round. I don't think we're asking for anything, too much. We're asking for a bare minimum. And we're partnering with Tansy. We have probably more experience with grant funding than Tansy does. And so it's their project, but we're just trying to help them. And we're helped because it helps the community as a whole.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, on the letter of, any questions on the letter of support? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Okay, yes, yep, yep,
We're gonna get some more information on it.
with the letter.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, that we will get more. Firstly, they get back to time to present it the way we normally would. We'll have more information, that'll be the letter, and I'll share it in an email before I send anything out, and we do, follow up with it.
Yeah, thank you. At this time, I give the opportunity to the public to have any, ask any questions on the agenda that we presented today. State your name and address, please.
Lacey Archer. I was wondering why there is a charge on April 24th for Table 12 Pub.
First of all, could we get your address too? It's part of the recording process and we need it for.
4513 47th Ave.
I'm not aware of who charged something there. I didn't have to dig into that one. It's
What date was that?
April 24th.
We'll have to look into that one and I'll respond to you by email because I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't even know where the Table 12 Tap House is.
That's a copy. It's a copy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not sure, but we'll find out and get back to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
I was also wondering just on the closers tree removal. Is that a local company or is that from out of town?
The organization, so we posted in February and we get many different organizations that will reach out, but actually this contractor was in doing work for Little Prairie Elementary School, doing tree removal already, so they actually had a meeting with me and we dealt with some of the areas that we're doing to try and address some of the major issues before we open all the green spaces and in our Fort St. John. It's great.
So you're piggybacking because they were already in the community and trying to cut costs down, or is it, because I know we have local tree removal companies.
We do, there is one local tree remover company in town, and there's also a subcontract that I use with West Montgomery First Stations that does it in some, but it depends on if it's close to homes, we use a local contractor because it's actually quite more complicated in regards to tree removal, so it depends on what it is, but I was piggybacking because they were already here. And we were able to get started right away while we were in that same space.
Okay, thank you.
okay, thank you. If there is any other questions, adjournment.
Sorry, I just have another question.
No,
I have a
okay, go ahead.
Couple questions, sorry.
Yep.
The first question I have is,
Name,
oh, sorry, Rebecca Haller, 531745 A Street.
thank you.
I'm just wondering if mayor and council would be open to possibly doing a live stream council meeting so people at home can see that.
Yeah,
Aren't
we
showing
don't
up.
have this on the agenda.
I
It-
just assume the meeting is on the agenda and the question is about meetings being televised through lives. Most of the communities around Chetwynd live stream through YouTube and it's pretty cool. You can actually put a little dot in the middle and it'll pop up and show you when the meetings are, so then people can actually watch. So that's an option for mayor and council.
Oddly enough, I just got pricing on it, about 2 weeks ago?
2, 3 maybe?
Yeah. So it'll be on the next council agenda. I didn't have time to get it on, but it's something that we've talked about. The one caution I would have is there have been comments about that way people could ask questions during the meeting, that kind of thing, on a chat type of form.
Yeah, usually the chats are off though. Yeah.
To be off of this because we don't have the staffing to run a live chat function, but it is something that we're looking into and we have some pricing on. It's, it's another additional cost, but we're trying to serve all the communities.
Absolutely, and well worth it for sure. My second question is the $25 charge to Lululemon, who purchased was it for a basket or something, or? I'm assuming a gift card, I think it's April 25th, 2025.
We're gonna have to look into that one too. I'm not sure.
Perfect, thank you.
All righty, okay.
Motion to.
Adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank you, council, thank you, staff, thank you, chief, for coming on.